Welcome to Video Game Leaks, everybody. Chaos here, and today we're going to explain to you why Arkham Origins Remastered must happen. It has to happen. Make sure you guys drop a like, make sure you stick around for the entire video. And Gotham Knights has hit the gaming scene and landed with, well, it depends on who you ask. There was a lot of leaks, and there was a lot of reviews, and the hopeful Arkhamverse revival game has a lot of people left still possibly wanting more, which also puts a bigger burden on the upcoming Suicide Squad game instead. Now, Warner Brothers struck gold with the Arkham trilogy, and its spin-off Arkham Origins, but ever since 2015, the franchise has been dormant, and we still don't know why. Now, Rocksteady has been rumored to be working on a Superman game at the time, rumors that were later made even louder thanks to the Superman Easter eggs in Arkham Knight, but it was later revealed that they had been working on a Suicide Squad game that had actually been shut down in 2016, only to be revived a few years later. So needless to say, the official return to the Arkham universe next year, it's an exciting prospect, but a lot of the game's hype was actually tied to Gotham Knights. This game wasn't technically part of the Arkhamverse. It was developed by WB Montreal, the same team that made Arkham Origins back in 2013. Now, the fact that we're getting two new DC Universe games from two Arkham developers, that's big. That's huge. And a lot of people were expecting both games to live up to that legacy. Sadly, that's not what happened. Now, Gotham Knights had a very troubled life. The game was delayed a number of times in two of the versions, the Xbox One and the PS4. Well, they had to be flat out canceled in order to hit final deadlines and make sure the game was playable on launch day. However, the prospect of Gotham Knights being exclusive to the PS5 and the series consoles, it raised the expectations for everybody, because if you're going to launch a game as a next-gen exclusive, you're going to have amazing graphics, excellent gameplay. That justifies it, right? Otherwise, what's the point of canceling the previous generation versions? Well, prior to launch, there was a handful of leaks that did not exactly paint the game in the best light. All along, a lot of people were expecting Batman to ultimately make an appearance at the end of the story, or at least he would have some kind of presence in the game. However, some early story leaks revealed that he wasn't in the game at all, but he was 100% dead and maybe a zombie version or something like that. Now, Warner Brothers was already fighting an uphill battle after the initial gameplay videos of Gotham Knights came out, so when news of the plot element leaked, well, the backlash got more intense. And let's talk about the initial gameplay videos with the marketing team. Let's just put it simply. Gotham Knights, to some people, does not look like a next-gen game. In fact, they would say that the argument can be made that Arkham Knight, which came out in 2015, looks better. Now, the 30 frames per second on the new consoles, it's got people not exactly happy. So the game, it has its, how would you say, it's trials and tribulations. Now, if you've been following Video Game Leaks for any time, you know we've talked about this exact scenario a couple times already. Even though Gotham Knights isn't an Arkhamverse game, it was selling itself on the history of that franchise, so it was naturally going to be directly compared to them. When you put the two next to each other, a lot of people think the Arkham series is the way to go. Now, they're going to do the same with Suicide Squad. I mean, Gotham Knights was the first major DC Universe game since Arkham Knight, so naturally the success of the next DC Universe game is going to rely heavily on it, because people are going to make an opinion on the franchise based on the first release. So can anyone who played Gotham Knights, can you tell me that you are more excited for Suicide Squad after playing this game? Let me know what you think. So, what does any of this have to do with the title of the video or what I said in the very beginning? Well, this is also something we discussed in the past, but back then, it was hypothetical. We were curious what would happen to the rumored Arkham Origins Remaster if Gotham Knights didn't generate the hype for the series that they expected before Suicide Squad's launch. With Gotham Knights being outsold in its launch week by the latest FIFA game, it's safe to say Warner Brothers may not be exactly happy with the results. So as a quick recap, we've heard a number of rumors from a number of sources over the last few months about a potential remaster or re-release of Batman Arkham Origins, and while it doesn't seem clear, or it didn't seem clear at the time, it seems that this is all being done as an effort to hype up the Arkhamverse before the launch of Suicide Squad. But why would it be Origins? Most fans of the series agree. It was the weakest of the four Arkham games, and the review scores certainly reflect that. Although I don't go off review scores, that's a video for another day. But it's for that exact reason that Origin is now the only Arkham game with no current gen console support. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, they got next-gen remasters called The Return of the Arkham Collection, which has been made playable on modern consoles. Arkham Knight, It launched on the PS4 and the Xbox One. I mean, it's also playable rather well on the PS5 and the series. So what about Origins? It hasn't gotten any kind of love or any kind of upgrade since it launched back in 2013, and that alone is enough to justify bringing it back to the standard of its peers. But another key reason that Origins may be getting that remaster treatment we've been talking about for months is because of its references to the Suicide Squad. Hear me out. Arkham Origins took place in the early years of Batman's career. It featured a roster of lower-level C-class villains, but still fantastic. The game was praised for the story. The transition to a larger open-world map, it was smooth. But Origins suffered a number of issues that likely came from an inexperienced team at that time. The game was filled with bugs, some of which made progression impossible until they patched it. You could fall through the map in certain locations. Some of the Riddler challenges were literally unsolvable because of missing button prompts, and the PC version had file corruption issues, which did make it possible to lose all your progress for no reason. That sucked. Compared to silky smooth launches of Arkham Asylum and City, Origins was ripped apart for not living up to the standards of the predecessors, despite it having some really good premise and ideas. I mean, you mix it all in with the important thing. Arkham Origins is the only game in the original Arkham series to reference the Suicide Squad rather explicitly. It's just an Easter egg, and like I said before, Rocksteady originally had a Suicide Squad game in development around this time as well, but the fact that the game, that is really desperate for a remaster is also the only other game that references the new version of the Suicide Squad, I think that's a valuable marketing tool. Now, a few months ago, reports of the Arkham Origins Remastered surfaced, claimed it would be scrapping the multiplayer mode in favor of a new photo mode and additional costumes and bonus content similar to the mainline Arkham games. The story generated buzz. I mean, we talked about it, the videos got a ton of views, and things got even more heated when a supposed RTX patch for Origins was released before suddenly disappearing from the internet. So it raised a new question. Would this actually be an Arkham Origins remaster, or would it simply be a hefty next-gen patch? A number of older games have received patches from the PS5 and the series consoles in order to bring them up to modern standard gaming expectations. Now, older Xbox games like Gears of War 3 still have a player base online simply because the game runs so well on the current Xbox hardware. So it's very possible that instead of putting money into a full remaster, WB could be playing the cheaper hand, ordering a big next-gen overhaul patch for the PS5 and the series, along with an RTX update for PC. By doing this, they could generate some safe buzz for the Arkham series, get people excited, get people ready for Suicide Squad. Even if you hated Origins at the moment due to the technical issues, you probably thought the story and the core gameplay was pretty solid. The game would have been much better if it had been polished to the standard of the main series. Let's all agree on that if we can. So if WB came out tomorrow and announced a giant next-gen patch for Origins that not only boosted the graphics and performance but fixed the bugs, I'd give it a try. I assume a lot of you would as well. Now, I mentioned earlier that the sales numbers for the new game weren't great. Now, it did debut at number 2 in physical sales in the UK, but it was beaten out by the latest FIFA game, which launched over a week ago. So the fact that the fresh launch of a heavily marketed game was able to bump a week-old game, it's not a good look. So it's time for WB to bring out the wild card. If they want people to take Suicide Squad seriously, they need to show they actually can get these properties where they need to be. The main Arkham series, it's run its course. They can't really milk that one anymore. They need to find a new angle to make people actually look at it again, and I think that angle is yes. Arkham Origins Remastered. So here's an official prediction. Here it is. I think if the Arkham Origins Remaster re-release truly does exist, we're going to get it by Christmas. I do. The game actually takes place on Christmas, so they could possibly incorporate that into the marketing. But if we do not hear anything about it by Christmas, I'm going to say all the rumors were completely false, because at that point, WB has totally missed the opportunity. Gotham Knights probably didn't get the job done. There's no surge in hype for Suicide Squad yet, and it comes out in less than 8 months. The only way Warner Brothers can course correct to me is by getting Arkham Origins back in our hands as quickly as possible, and that would be before Christmas, not only for the sake of the game setting, but also just a way to capitalize. I mean, I think it was a super underrated game. I think if they fix it, I think this is the way to go. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you soon.